Hey, this is Steven from Kiwibox.com, and we've got Luke from the Kooks on the line. How you doing today, Luke?
I am very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Your newest album is Conk, released here in the States this past April, and it's actually your most successful record to date. Why do you think it took so long for things to pick up for you in America?
I suppose it's we haven't really been there that much, man. And first record took us quite a while to sort of get it out there, get the album out there. And it's America, you know, it's a big place.
What do you think of the response so far to the album in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. We just did a US tour. It was pretty surprising, really, like how many people know us and know our tunes. Like I said, without having really been there all that much. It's great.
You recorded a lot of demos for the project, I read. Are you saving the unreleased material for the next album, or are you going to release it just piece by piece?
Probably some of it, but we don't really see it like holding stuff back, you know what I mean? It's just kind of ongoing for us, the material. Songs are just ongoing, and like sometimes you might use go back to an old song or something and rewrite it, or you might put it in a different context or whatever. So the material's always there to be used. But to be honest, we're just always trying to write new stuff. That's how you move forward and progress. You know what I mean? As a band.
Yeah. You're playing the Isle of MTV 2008 at Malta in a couple days for over 40,000 people. How do you mentally prepare for playing to a crowd that big?
Don't.
You don't think about it?
No, of course not, man. You know, the thing is, if you start thinking about it like that in those terms, you never go and do it in some ways. But to be honest, like we've played so many gigs now. Like we've played in front of 40,000 people at Glastonbury, probably more. You know, we played a gig the other day in Germany. It's probably about 60,000. So I'm not saying we're like veterans or whatever, but we are kind of used to it. Do you know what I mean? We're used to playing in front of big crowds, and I suppose for me as well, I'm starting to enjoy it a lot more. In the early days, it's not about being daunted. It's about I don't really feel as a frontman or whatever. Like I don't feel daunted by it. But being a small sort of, we're sort of like a modern beat band. I like to think of ourselves. You know what I mean? Like a modern pop beat band. And so when you've got quite a small sound coming out, it's quite hard to get the whole place rocking. But we've worked quite hard on developing our sound.
You played for bigger crowds before. I read that you opened for Rolling Stones on their 2006 tour as well. How was that experience for you looking back?
It was very cool. I mean, it was a good thing to do. I mean, we did it for the poster, really. Do you know what I mean? That's what I always say. I mean, I think that the actual doing it, I mean, it's quite well documented by lots of other bands. Not the most enjoyable experience supporting the Stones, because it's such a massive thing. It's like this massive touring thing, and then you don't really get a sound check, and it's all a bit, it's hard, and you're kind of playing as people are walking into the venue. But we were like really chuffed to be asked, and it's cool. And then it was nice because like a few months later, Jagger came down to our show, and like that, that's just like nice to have respect from the man. But it's kind of exciting, play with. It's not just a band, you know what I mean? They're like Stones. It's kind of weird in our generation because they're kind of, massively important cultural figures. You know what I mean? They're not just rock. You think of them as just being just singers and just guitar players, but they mean all that, so much more than that now. It can't help be affected by the weight of that.
Did you get to meet Mick Jagger or Keith Richards while you were on the tour?
Yeah, completely. I mean, like I said, Mick came to our show afterwards, which, got to have a little bit of a proper chat with him, but we didn't get to meet them, like in a bar having a drink. It wasn't, it's a little bit more formal than that, but yeah, we said hello and had a photo and all that kind of shit.
What other bands could you see yourselves going on tour with, or a band even that you'd want to, that's a dream tour for you? I mean, the Rolling Stones is kind of hard to beat, but there must be someone else.
I would like to play with lots of people, like, you know, you're not going to turn down doing tour with Dylan or Mark Knopfler or something like that, you know, because I'd love to just watch them every night, you know what I mean? Like, maybe, because of the way those guys are, you can imagine that probably after, you know, or Neil Young, you know, you can imagine afterwards they'd probably be quite up for having a little jam with you know what I mean? I think that would be fucking ace. But I think at the moment to be honest, like, we're really trying to just do our own thing, do our own tours, go under our own banner.
So what's next for you guys? Is after the touring, do you have anything planned out in the future, or are you just going to keep on heading out on the road?
Well, basically, we're just touring. I mean, we're probably, when we're just doing Europe at the moment, I know we're coming back to the US, and I think next month or the month after. And then we're doing Japan, we're just doing sort of festival circuit, you know. And then I suppose it'll be, start thinking about next record. Which is exciting. I think I'm quite looking forward to some time in the rehearsal room, because we haven't had that for a long time. It's kind of a weird thing when you get, you know, it's a double-edged sword when you always touring and you become successful doing that, because now not much time, we have sound checks, but there's not much time to sort of sit down in a room. You know, you need like a whole few days to get into it and sit around with some beers and talk about tunes, and I'm quite looking forward to that at some point.
Well, I guess good luck on touring and all future pursuits, and thanks for taking the time out to talk.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.